y'all. I just wanted to come on here and show you real quick a pumpkin tissue holder. Now I use TP for my like sneezes and blowing my nose, and that's how I do it. I just pull it like that. This one I took the core cardboard centerpiece out, and then I tucked it back in to the paper, and I just taped it shut. And I do that quite a bit, but I have a cat that loves to eat any kind of soft paper like this, tissues, toilet paper, whatever. She will chew on it. And I have a summer cold, I think. So I'm just going to make another one of these covers. I made one a couple years ago that was made for a square box of tissues. You may have seen this one. Right now it has a roll of toilet paper in it that I use like that. But it was made for a square. So you see there's the shape of it. And it's got a little button to put it in. And this is the most important part, is the flap that keeps the cat out of the tissues. But I'm going to make a round one this time. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a rectangle. Let me do it again. All right. That's my slip knot. And then let's do 2 chains. Go back into the first chain. And then do another chain. And then pull through those 2. Go back into that chain you did. Make another one. Pinch that. And go through those 2. Go back into that chain. So this is a single crochet foundation row. Make sure you go over those 2 yarns there, those 2 loops. Now I pinch this so that it doesn't get pulled too tight. So you can go back into it easily and get those 2 loops over your hook. It also keeps the back loop from curling backwards away from you. That's what it does. This loop right here, this loop right here, this back loop, this is the front loop, this is the back loop. The back loop wants to curl backwards. It always tries to turn. So I pull my what is this? My middle finger. I pull it along and I push with my thumb when I pinch it. And what that does is that it keeps it from rolling back for the most part. And sometimes I have to help it along to keep it, to get it on the hook. So sometimes I will push with this finger and kind of push it over the hook. But the most important thing is to keep it from getting tight. So that's why I pinch it. Also make sure that your yarn is nice and loose and flowing, so it doesn't pull back on you and give you too tight of a tension. Make sure you pull that yarn up too. Just give it a little extra room. Now this is a small project. You can get this probably done in an afternoon. If you want to embellish it, that might make it take a little bit longer. If you want to like make eyes, or like a jack-o'-lantern face, or leaves, or curly cues, any of those little things that you can add to the pumpkin to get it to look, a little decorative. I'm going to put a flap on the top, and you can add all the like leaves and stems and embellishments to the flap. It'll kind of make it into a little handle if you do a stem. Okay, I think this might be long enough. Let's see. Yeah, you want it to curl around. The middle and the top and the middle can be open a little bit more, but the bottom should be tight. Okay, so let's just go ahead and finish it. Turn your work, and then go into the first stitch. If you want to do a fancy stitch, you can. It will make your project go a little slower. But single crochet is fine, double crochet is fine. This is really, for me, just something quick to contain the toilet paper roll, and to keep the cat from eating it. She's a sneaky one. She does it at night, or when we're not looking, like if we're in the kitchen cooking, she will go after any soft paper. So even like a napkin, like a dinner napkin, if she likes that paper, if it's soft enough, she will chew it. She'll jump up on the table and sneak and get all of our napkins chewed on. It'll have little bite marks, and it'll be wet. She's a naughty girl. She does that to the toilet paper in the bathroom too. So I have another crocheted setup to hide my toilet paper in the bathroom, so I can still use it. But I don't know if you saw, I don't make a turning chain. I just turn my work and just go right into the first loop and pull up a loop. So I have 2 loops on my hook. It makes the edges nice and straight. When you add that turning chain, it creates a bump that's not necessary. I'm just using some leftover Red Heart Super Saver. I think this is the color Carrot. Yeah. I got it a couple years ago during the pandemic when I needed some orange for some Halloween stuff. And the only orange I could find was Red Heart Super Saver on I think it was Amazon, actually, because it was like out. There was no orange anywhere. Now when you're on this this other end and I didn't create the extra turning chain loop, you have to look for the 2 yarns, the 2 loops. They're going to lean a little bit, and and then there's that one loop that's like in the middle of the two. You have to push this down and hit those two loops up at the top. So that's your last. And then you turn, you go into the same stitch you just made, pull up those loops and go through them. And that's it. That's how I do my ends. I don't make a turning chain. It's actually something I learned from the stacked single crochet turning. When you're going into like the double crochet, you put two of those on top of each other. But I found that even just doing the first single crochet without having to stack them, it just makes a nice edge. Alright, so I will meet you back. I've rambled enough. When we've got enough of this to go around the whole roll full of paper. Okay, I'm back. This is just short of the toilet paper roll. So that means it'll be a little tight. And I want it to be a little bit tight. So now it's time to join these two. And you see how neat the edges are? Very, very straight. And you can put this together however you want. I just turned it around. I'm just gonna go like this. I'm just going to do a slip stitch. I'm going to do that all the way down until I get to the end. I'll meet you back. Okay, so I've turned it inside out. Put it on the actual project. So this is a single crochet, two together, decreasing. This will be on the bottom. So I'm going to go all the way around and close it. I did more than 3 on that one. 3 loops. I did 4 loops on that one. Split. Another 4. Don't do that too often. I think it creates a gap. Okay, where am I? I'm coming up on it. I'm And then I'll have actual stitches to be able to work in. We're getting there. 1, 2, and here we are. We are now in the tops of those stitches. This is how you can make a hat, by the way. I know most people start at the top and work their way down, but you can do it this way too. Because once you've got the brim, and I did another 4. Sometimes I don't pay attention to what I'm doing. Now you could just leave it like this if you wanted to, and just make it a one of those back of the toilet pumpkin, little TP holder. You don't have to close the bottom. You just do this and you could even put a little like wash rag or something in the top here to stuff it out. Okay, I'm going to stop here. Do that. You see, that's kind of pumpkin looking, but this is going to be the bottom. This is where the top is going to be. Okay, so we're going to sew an elastic on that is basically from the top of a sock. And try to figure out how to do this the best way. Double check and make sure. Number 1, will this expand? Yeah, that will expand. And that's all I'm going to do. I'm just going to do single crochets all the way around over this piece of elastic. Now, if you don't have a pair of socks that you can cannibalize, you could use a hair tie, but I would use like an old one that's lost a lot of its elasticity so that you can get it over the toilet paper roll, because it's got to be able to stretch. I made the mistake of making something similar to this, and it it was so tight I could barely get the roll into it. So anyway, do this all the way around. All right. I will meet you back. Okay, so I've come all the way around, and this is the loop that I've finished. Okay. I'm going to go into the top of that stitch. Just gonna pull it through. I'm having a little trouble because of the loop is on the wrong side. But there. Okay. Now I'm gonna do one. What are these things called? Slip stitch. There we go. Okay, there is the, it's a little, I'm trying to move it so that it's, there we go. Okay, so that is the finished product. You can stop here if you don't have a crazy cat like I do, but I'm going to make a cover for this with a stem and a leaf and maybe some curly cues to look like a pumpkin. And if you really want to make a nice rounded pumpkin, you could use this as your base and then create a whole nother pumpkin over this that you'll stuff with cotton on this side, and then you could do like a fancy stitch of ridges and stuff. That's, you know, it's completely up to you if you want to do something like that, so that it's not this square looking pumpkin. But I'm just going to do the lid real quick. So let's do a slip knot. Let's do 4 chains. 1, 2, 3, 4. Go into the first chain with a slip stitch. Okay, and then we're going to go into the center of those 4 chains while we're crocheting over the tail. Okay, and we're going to put in 8 single crochets. Move this over so it's not in your way, your eye line. And make sure you keep that tail inside your stitches all the way around. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, there's the 8th one. You can let it drop at this point, let the tail drop. Okay, let's pull this tail to show you. You can do the magic ring and have a backup with the 4 chain stitches. Okay, now we're just going to, real quick, we're going to make a circle. So we have this loop sticking up on our hook. We're going to go into the next stitch and we're going to yarn over and pull up. Do a single crochet and then do another single crochet. In each stitch is 2 single crochets in each stitch. 2 single crochets in each stitch. Now, the reason why I'm doing this lid is not only will it make it look cute, it will keep your cat from pulling the tissues out and making a mess. and maybe possibly getting sick. You don't want that either. So just try to make sure you do 2 stitches, two single crochets in every space. Okay, here's the first stitch. Let's do a slip stitch. Put your yarn into the next stitch. Make your single crochet. Let's do 2 here and then 1. 2 in the next and then 1. We're still just doing single crochets, but now we're just doing 2 together and then 1. And this is increasing. Getting close to the end. This is where we started. Okay. Now we can do 2 in here. And then 1 and then 1. So this is 2 1 1. 2 and then 1 and then 1 in the next, and then we put 2 into the next space, and then we put 1 and then we put 1 and then we do 2 and then 1 and then 1 and then 2 and then 1 and then 1 and 2 and so on. So now we're just going to kind of spiral, but you want to make sure that you can find your starting point. So you can just take a piece of yarn that's a different color, just kind of lay it over your next stitch like this, and that'll be your first stitch. Okay, so we did 2. Now we're going to do 1, 2, 3 single crochets in the next 3 stitches, and then we're going to do 2 and then 3 single crochets in the next 3 spaces. Okay, this is real simple. So it's 2 1 1 1. And if you miscount, it's okay. Actually, I find it sometimes beneficial to throw off your count, or start like in the middle, you know, because eventually this will start looking like an octagon versus a circle if you're not careful. So throw in a little bit of randomness every now and then to keep that from happening, keep this from looking like an octagon. Okay, so there is our starting stitch. You can go like this, just pull it through gently, lay it over, and then make sure you go into the stitch that you've covered with your stitch marker yarn. Okay, so there, I just did one. Now we're supposed to do 4 single crochets in this round. So that's 2, that's 3, that's 4. Now you notice I did not start with 2. I started with 1, 2, 3, 4. My single. Now I'm going to do the 2. Now the 2 in this helps your row increase and keeps it from ruffling. So there's my double. There's my 3, and then here's the 4th one. Let's do 2 in this one. And then 4 single crochets, one after the other. Okay, here we go. Right there. So we ended with just 1. That's okay. Now we're supposed to do 5, but let's double check and make sure we're not going beyond our top. And there's a funny feeling in me when I look at the different sides. Like this is our front and this is our back. And for some reason I really like the way this side looks versus this side, because this side looks super ridged and rounded and spirally. It also curves just a little bit this way. And I kind of like the way that looks. I'm going to continue to go until the edge, maybe 2 more rows, and I will meet you back. And so the rule of thumb is you add a single stitch to your pattern each row. So we're at 4 now, so then we'll do 5, and then we'll do 6 single crochets in between those double 2 single crochets in that next stitch. So our pattern will increase by 1 single crochet in each round. So next round is 5, the next round is 6. I'll meet you back. I did the 5 single crochet row off camera, and then I did my last row. Instead of doing 6 and doubles, 6 single crochets and then a double 2 single crochets, I did just 1-to-1 single crochets all the way around, because I wanted it to kind of curl a little bit, like an acorn cap kind of, you know, feel. So that's what I did. And I really like the way it looks on this side. I know most people prefer to do their stuff where the front is the front and the back is the back, but I'm turning it. Now, I'm going to take this running stitch marker out, and I'm going to sew this onto the back. And let's find that seam. There it is. There's the seam, so that's the back. We're going to crochet that right onto our body. Just stick your hook in there and just do a slip stitch and just put it in again, and you could do it in the next stitch. And now you got another stitch you could put it under, and it's just stick it in there anywhere that it just seems logical. And so I'm just going to do 4 stitches. And I want to do 2 chains. And just pull that through. Now we are done with the basics. So now it is finished. We need to put a Velcro dot to hold it down so the cat does not get in it. Right on the opposite side. You could probably do one on each side here and here. You could do a strip of Velcro so that it holds it across. Then we'll do a little stem and leaves. But if you wanted to do this in like the color of your bathroom, you could do this in that color rather than making a pumpkin. I'm planning on making this into a jack-o'-lantern, but it's up to you. Whatever your creativity tells you to do that. One thing I want to show you is how to get the toilet paper roll ready for I love to save these wrappers for my cat. I just lay them on top of one of their favorite sleeping spots, and he just has a ball with it. He digs it, he scratches it, he lays on it, he loves it. And he gets a fresh one every time I open up another roll. So you see I'm pushing my finger in here between the paper and the cardboard tube. And I'm just folding it in like that. I'm going to do it on the other side. Now, depending on your brand of TP, this may be easier or harder because some companies have really stiff tubes and it's very tightly wound. And others are not, but this is how I get around the really tightly wound. Okay, and now let's undo that. There's sometimes a little bit of glue that's stuck to these. Just gotta get that out. There we go. Okay. And I'll just tuck it back in the middle until you've got like a little candle wick. Now when you first take it out of the cardboard tube, take the cardboard tube out, it's usually still a very stiff roll, so that's the best time to just very quickly get it in here. Because once you start removing the core, you're doing a center pull on your TP, it will start to get soft and it'll collapse, just like a yarn ball, like this. See how it's starting to collapse? Because the center is out. So get this in your TP holder as soon as you take the cardboard out. And there won't be any chance of it flopping and collapsing when you're trying to put it inside of your holder. So this is all I'm going to show you today, because this is the basics on keeping your cat out. I mean, you could even like tie a bow here, and then you have to untie it every time you need to blow your nose. I prefer a little piece of Velcro right here and here. And that way you just get your TP as you need it. You could put like a handle or a strap on the back here and take this into like a camping situation. Or if you have outhouse kind of situation, like if you're at a festival or something and you want to bring your own TP, just put a little strap here. You can put on your wrist, and leave this in the car until you have to go to the bathroom at the festival. Then you can grab this and wear it and bring it into the bathroom or the porta-potties with you. Or like the Renaissance Fair has porta-potties. They don't always have TP, so you can make sure that you have TP with you when you go to these places. So yeah, this could be just a general, camping / concert lifesaver. And like I said, you can make it in any colors you like. And it's like an endless Kleenex roll. But I hope that you enjoyed this. And crochet your way today, because it's the only time we have. And I'll leave you with a little video of Evan sleeping on his new favorite perch. Hey buddy, how's it going? You are sleeping? Yeah. This is your favorite place now. On the yarn wall. And all the little clear Ziploc bags. He's doing much better after his surgery. It's been a couple weeks now. He had his stitches checked by the surgeon, and they're all dissolving and healing nicely. So yeah, let's leave him alone and let him have his afternoon nap.